What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, man, let's get right on into it. Hopefully, first off, happy Thanksgiving to everyone who does celebrate this day. You know what I'm saying? Lots of love to those out there celebrating it, having a good time with family and whatnot. Um, Thank you so much for tuning in. If you do tune in, stop in for a little bit before you go ahead and get with the fam. Get yourself some turkey, some ham, green beans, mac and cheese, all of the blessings and everything that you have is going on, sin. Hopefully you're having a happy Thanksgiving. Blessings to you. So yeah, man, just a little quick recap show. It's not gonna be long. As of right now, you know what I'm saying? We got the dub on Monday night, 20-9. 49ers go ahead and move to 8-4. The Panthers dropped to 6-6. They're back at 500, but they're still in the hunt for the NFC South. Reason being, Bucks got the brakes beat off of them, and they're the leaders in the NFC South. So still gives them a little bit of an opportunity to be able to win their division at a minimum. So it doesn't put them out of the playoff race. As far as wild card, they would be on the outside looking in, obviously. But due to the fact that this was an NFC loss, that's a bad thing for them. But the fact that the Bucks lost is once again a good thing for them because that gives them an opportunity to continue to be able to fight for the crown for the NFC South. And right now, just take a look at it. The NFC South is very, very tight. So you have the Bucks at 6-5. Panthers 6-6, Atlanta at 4-7, and New Orleans at 2-9. Now, the only team I named there that doesn't really have a shot in you know what is New Orleans. There's nothing they can do to be able to win that division or get into the playoffs. The Falcons maybe, but they would literally have to go on a 6-game win streak and hope and pray that the Panthers and the Bucks never win another game. So I think mainly this is going to be decided between the Panthers and the Bucks. If there is no Baker Mayfield, then most likely I think the Panthers can go ahead and pull it off if they continue to try to fight and win. And then for the San Francisco 49ers, as far as the divisional battles are concerned, when you take a look at it, the Rams are the NFC leaders. They are the number one seed, technically speaking, based off of the playoffs. They are currently at 9-2. And then you have the Seahawks at 8-3 and us at 8-4. So we've done fairly good in our division. Just as long as we beat the Seahawks at the end, we'll go 5-1 in the division. That's not a bad deal. I will gladly take that. Divisional games are very tough. It's hard. The only divisional game that we've lost is the second game we played against the Rams. So for right now, we're sitting pretty. Things are looking very good for us. When you come and you take a look at the NFL and you want to take a look at the the standings and just see what the playoffs would look like. Just for right now, if you're talking about it, we can definitely talk about that. I'll even share the screen with you guys really quick, just so everybody gets a little bit of an update on how things currently stand. So in the AFC, New England Patriots are leading the AFC. They are 10-2. They are the number one seed. It would have that one solo bye week. Next up, you have the Denver Broncos at 9-2. They are leading their division. The Indianapolis Colts are leading their division at 8-3, and the Baltimore Ravens are leading their division at 6-5. They are on I believe, like a 4 or 5 game win streak. They've been balling. Basically, when Lamar plays, they have a better shot. When Lamar don't play, it don't look good for the Ravens. But then you have the last three guys, the Chargers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Buffalo Bills are the teams that are rounding out the playoff spots there. You got the Texans lurking at 6-5, Pittsburgh lurking at 6-5, Kansas City lurking at 6-5, who's currently playing the Cowboys. I'm hoping and praying the Cowboys win because I would love to see a postseason with the Kansas City Chiefs not around. Yes, I'm being a hater because I can't stand the Chiefs. Obviously, you know why. And then when you come over to the NFC, if you look at it, the Rams are number one at 9-2. Philadelphia right on their heels at 8-3. The Bears leading the NFC South at 8-3, and things just got better for them. Sorry, the NFC North at 8-3, and things just got better for them because the Lions took another L to the Green Bay Packers. So that bodes well for them. And then the Packers, basically the Tampa Bay Bucks are leading their division. And then 5, 6, and 7 right now is Seattle, Green Bay, and the 49ers. Once again, hot on our heels are the Lions. You still got the Panthers who could possibly sneak in. So things are very, very tight. The only teams that are pretty much out at this point, as you can see, fully eliminated is the New York Football Giants. But we don't expect the Commanders. We don't expect the Cardinals. We don't expect the Saints. I definitely don't expect the Vikings, not even the Cowboys. So basically 11 through 16 here, I definitely expect them to wind up eliminating themselves. Just not good teams. And I think this is over for them as far as that's concerned. But when you take a look at it, we do have the option to be, one of those good teams in the NFL that can continue to get in. We can sneak into the playoffs and make some moves. One thing I always give Kyle Shanahan credit for, very simply put, is when the man goes to the playoffs, he doesn't go anywhere other than the NFC Championship game. Now, I know we've had a ton of injuries. We got the BS with Brandon Ayuk going on, and things are just very hard for us right now. But at the end of the day, if we make the playoffs, we've got a chance to make a run. But if we're going to make a run, if we're going to do anything in the playoffs, one thing we're going to have to do is make sure that Mr. Purdy is in tip-top shape. This game, though we won, we won 20-9. And thank you to Matt Gay for coming in and kick field goals and doing the things that you did and being as great as you are. But we had a little bit of a problem with our quarterback. The man threw three interceptions in the first half. Now, mind you, in the second half, Kyle kind of took the ball out of his hands a little bit, controlled things a little bit more, and just, made things settle down to a point where we could be all right. But, he started the game great. Purdy started off hot. We moved down the field, boom, we hit Juwan Jennings, nice. And Jennings made a fantastic play on that play. And we'll talk about him and everything that happened. But Jennings made a great play for that touchdown catch because basically he was bottled up between three defenders and they thought they had him. And somebody didn't pay attention, wound up letting go, and Juwan walked right on into the end zone for a touchdown. Then after that, Purdy just went on a streak where he was just throwing interception after interception. He threw 2 interceptions to J.C. Horn and 1 interception to Mike Jackson. J.C. Horn went out of the game with a injury later on. Now, it's not to say that we didn't do anything great, but I'm talking about our offense first. And 23 of 32 passing. We ran the ball 38 times, so it's still a very balanced game. But Brock's got to get it under control. And shout out to Mike from Nothing But Niners. He was on top of this. They were booing Brock Purdy. They were booing him. They drowned that out on the national telecast because I didn't hear that. But he was getting word from people that he knew that were at that game that they were booing Brock Purdy in that first half. And let me just touch on that for just a second. The reason being is because you had Mac Jones in here doing what he was doing with a ragtag bunch of dudes, with a crew that nobody would think could win games. And Mac was doing it and doing it well. Shout out to LL Cool J. But I think what happened is he came in, and Brock does a lot of this sometimes where he tries to play hero ball and he doesn't take what's given to him. He's trying to go for the big play. And while we appreciate you, Brock, we love you, take what's being given to you. All 3 of those interceptions were his fault. Every single one of them. Not one of those interceptions was a tip drill or somebody knocked it down at the line or he didn't have good vision or anything. No. Those 3 interceptions were his. Now, mind you, once again, Brock Purdy is not Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not going to go up there and not own his mistakes. He walked right up to the podium and did. And we appreciate you for it, Brock. Here's the thing. When it comes to National Football League and fans, we don't care. We need you to get up and go in that game and play the game the right way and take what's given to you. We don't need you playing hero ball, trying to force the ball to players they don't even have the right position. They are not there and they're not able to make that play. So those are the things that we want to be mindful of and take care of. And we always want to make sure that Brock gets it right. And we know and understand that sometimes quarterbacks have bad games. The 3 interceptions in the first half, if he threw another pick and they didn't put Mac Jones in, I'd have some questions about Kyle Shanahan. I mean, I already do, but this would make me question it more because you just don't let your quarterback drown like that. Some days you're having bad games, and hell, at this point, I know Mac Jones has been preparing like he'd start. Why not just go ahead and be smart? You know what I'm saying? I think he was nice because he said, okay, we got halftime. I can let Brock calm down, get out of his own head, get out of his own way. He can come back and make some better decisions. Now, mind you, though he threw 3 interceptions, he threw technically 5. There were 2 that were just dropped, or where the wide receiver for the 49ers had to come back and be a DB to knock it down. So his accuracy was off this game. I don't know what the problem was. I don't know what the situation was, but I hope that he gets it together and he gets it together pretty quickly because we cannot have him failing. We need Brock in tip-top shape. I mean, hell, the last game, he came out and brought us to our highest output of all from an offensive standpoint against the Cardinals. I was there, 41 points. So you don't want to have that as a situation where Brock is not making sense of things and, he's out there trying to do too much. We don't need you to do too much because the next defense we play is not going to be nice. It's going to be very ugly. And it's just, once again, it's not going to be friendly. We have to play the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns defense is stout. They have a man on their team named Myles Garrett who is on a tear. This man lives in 3 to 4 sack range every damn game almost. He is going to break that sack record this year. Michael Strahan said it on national television. Sack record, it was good knowing you, but goodbye. Myles Garrett's definitely going to break that. He only needs 5. And with the way our offensive line plays, he proverbially could get 5. The defense for the Browns last week, once again, I know it was the Raiders, but this is an NFL team. And at the end of the day, you're playing NFL guys just like they're playing NFL guys. The Browns defense had 10 sacks last week, people. 10. 3 of them were from Myles Garrett. 2 of them were from Malik Collins, who used to be a Niner. And couldn't stay healthy to save his life, but magically he healthy over here in Cleveland. I'm not going to get on that soapbox. Sorry. But at the end of the day, Brock Purdy has to figure it out. He has to be better about it. Of course, we had another stellar game from Christian McCaffrey, as we always do. Christian McCaffrey went out there and balled. 24 carries, 89 yards, 1 TD. Brian Robinson Jr., he was balling. He had 7 carries for 40 yards, 5.7 yards. That's great. See, this is the good balance. I'd probably like to have it more maybe Christian 21, Brian 10. But either way, you're starting to balance it out, and you're seeing that. And that's the good thing. It tells you that Christian's understanding it, and hopefully Kyle and Bobby Turner are understanding it. And I really need them to get off of this Christian doesn't want to come out of the game BS. You are the head coach. You are the running backs coach. You run things. The running back does not run you. I don't care if he doesn't want to come out of the damn game. Make sure he understands that he's going to have to sit his ass down every now and then because we're going to need him for the long haul. We have been using and abusing Christian McCaffrey, which is what I did not want this year, and I don't want every year because it's hard when you're going to be able to try to continue to go out there and play at a high level, and they're using you in every which way. Christian McCaffrey literally had 24 carries and 7 catches. That's a lot of work for a running back. 7 catches, 53 yards, you know what I'm saying? 7.6 yards a catch, that's not bad. Longest catch was 19 yards. But either way, it's just the fact that we all know that Christian McCaffrey is going to be utilized in very big fashion. And I understand that. So for me, I just want us to be able to make sure that we don't overuse and over-abuse him. And then when the playoffs come, he's just tired and worn out. All the treads have been run off the tires, and we don't have any new ones to be able to put on. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to the run game, as a unit, we had 147 yards total, just 1 TD from Christian McCaffrey, obviously. And then, of course, with the receiving, 6 catches, 78 yards. George Kittle, 7 catches, 53 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 5 for 41 for Juwan Jennings. And then the rest of them are just all pedestrian numbers. It's not even worth talking about. When it comes to defense, of course, Christian McCaffrey did have that fumble. Colton McKivitz jumped on it and recovered it. The fumble that was forced on Christian McCaffrey necessarily wasn't his fault. It's kind of hard to know when somebody's coming around you. And it wasn't that he didn't have the ball fully secured. This was just a bang-bang play. Guy came in from the back, knew where the ball was, hit it, it popped out. Luckily, Colton recovered it. When you come in, you take a look at the defense. Malik Mustafa is out there balling. Led us with tackles, 7 of them. Upton Stout had 6. He had a great pass defense. Jair Brown with 2 interceptions. His best game as a Niner. by far his best game as a Niner. And I love it. The fact that they're using him in that big nickel spot. When it comes down to it, you see a lot of Jason Pinnock. The only sack that we had was from Cleveland Farrell. A little bit of pressure on the quarterback, not enough. We got to be able to get to him. So these things are just working out well. He had 2 TFLs, 4 pass defensive squad. So that's definitely a good thing. Once again, you come down, you take a look at the scoring. Matt Gay was 100%, 2 of 2 on his field goals, 2 of 2 on his extra points. That's all we're asking for. We only punted 1 time with Thomas Morstead, so that's a good thing. Sky Moore, 26.7 yards per kick return. That's fantastic. Looks great to me. He had a good long one, too, as well, for 43 yards, so that's always awesome when you come and you take a look at that. So the 49ers scored in every single quarter. The Panthers didn't score in the first or the fourth. And we only allowed them to score, I believe, just a field goal and 1 touchdown. They tried to go for 2 points, but the 2-point conversion was failed for them because we stopped it. So Bryce Young, 18 to 29, 169 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. Once again, both interceptions were by Jair Brown. Nicely done. The unfortunate thing about it is we didn't do anything with those interceptions. We didn't score off of those. And that's the bad thing. Jair Brown gave us 2 opportunities to be able to do something with the interception that we got on offense, and we did nothing. So we just got to be better about that. We got to be smarter about it. Luckily, we bottled up the run game. Rico Dowdle didn't do much. 6 carries, 38 yards. I don't know why they didn't try to run him more. I don't know why teams are not running on us anymore because we're one of the worst run defenses in the league. If it was me, I would have ran Rico Dowdle down our throats. But I think TOP here was a big thing. So they had 69 yards rushing as a unit between Chuba Hubbard, Bryce Young, and Rico Dowdle. Dowdle led them with 4 receptions for 36 yards. Their big receiver, Tetsutora McMillan, we had 2 catches, 35 yards, and 1 touchdown. But other than that, he didn't do much of anything. We were shutting him down. So he had 2 catches on 7 targets. So that's great. That means that we locked down their best receiver. Xavier Leggett didn't do much. So we basically shut down what we needed to shut down. You know what I mean? We did what we needed to do. You come over and take a look at them. No sacks for them. A couple TFLs, few passes defense. And then, of course, they had their 3 interceptions. But they couldn't do anything with them either. So neither team was really doing a lot off of the turnovers that were provided to them. Ryan Fitzgerald, he missed a field goal, but still would have made a difference. Just would have made the game a little bit less of a blow when it comes down to that. As far as just numbers, you know what I'm saying? So you just moved from a 11-point loss to an 8-point loss if you did make that field goal. And then when you take a look at the team stats, just looking at it, I think we had the ball. We had lots of TOP. So we had 23 first downs to their 12. And then we were 7 of 13 on 3rd down. They were 1 of 7. You got to clap it up for the defense. Having them be 1 of 7 on 3rd down is beautiful. That is the perfect thing that we need. They didn't do anything on 4th down. We went forward on 4th down, converted twice. They ran 43 plays. We ran 70. We had 340 yards. They had 230 in total. We both had the same amount of drives, but we had more yardage. And then I do believe we had the ball longer. Exactly 37 minutes to 22. So that tells you exactly how that worked out. That's definitely a good thing. TOP is always a beautiful thing. Of course, we had more turnovers than they did. They had 4 penalties for 30 yards. We had 2 for 6, which is not a bad thing. That's great. I'll take 2 penalties for 6 yards all day long. It's not going to bother me none. But when you come down and you take a look at it, you know what I mean? These things happen, and we got this game won, but we got to be careful, and we got to be a little bit smarter. We cannot go out there and be throwing 3 interceptions and just continually putting it back on our defense to shut them down. Now, mind you, our defense did their job. They did what they were supposed to do as far as that goes, with shutting them down when Purdy decided to just give them the damn ball. But at the end of the day, we've got to be very careful. And I want Kyle Shanahan to be careful as well, because here's the thing. We love Brock. Brock is our quarterback. He is our starter. But if Brock is struggling and that toe injury is really still messing with him, don't put him back out there. Talk to him behind closed doors, figure out what the situation is, and make a decision between you and him. You gave him more than enough time. You know what I'm saying? We had Mac out there, and he was doing fairly well, but you give him more than enough time to heal. Mac was going out there with everything under the sun, beat up, hurt, and all kinds of things. And I know he was happy to be able to go in the game, in Arizona and just finish it off. You know what I mean? Just do small things, kneel down or hand off. And he didn't have to worry about being hit. And I'm hoping that these couple of weeks off for him give him a chance to really heal up properly and feel good and be back at 100%. As we all know, when you play in the NFL, you're never going to be 100% throughout the year because you're taking hits, you're getting banged up. Little nicks, little things will happen. When I say 100%, I mean he's going out there and his hip isn't bothering him, his knee isn't bothering him. He isn't thinking about, oh crap, this is where the pressure's coming from. All of those things need to come into play. For Mac to feel 100%, and that's what I mean. You have to build football callus throughout the year. You usually build that football callus in preseason, you know what I'm saying, and in training camp, get hit a little bit, run out there, do some things, get a little contact, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we did get the dub. We're continually going to it. We're in that playoff hunt. There's not a big deal when it comes down to this. Like I said, for the Panthers, they still have a very high chance to be able to win their division. They're not far away from being able to do so. They just got to keep winning. The Bucs got to keep losing. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, for the Niners, for us, it's going to be the outside looking in because we have the Rams and the Seahawks kind of in front of us, and neither team seems to want to take an L. Neither team is trying to take an L at all. We would love for them to start taking some L's, damn it, but it ain't happening. And I can tell you right now, with the way that things are going, like I said, I'm taking a look at everything just for this week. And currently, the Packers beat the Lions 31-24, and right now the Cowboys are up on the Chiefs. I just need the Cowboys to win because I just don't want to see the Chiefs go ahead and do anything. And then our night game on Peacock or NBC is going to be the Bengals versus the Ravens. I do believe Joe Burrow is back. Joe Burrow is back on the field for the Cincinnati Bengals. Hopefully they can try to, get back and do some things. But I think their season is a wash as well because their defense is just horrible. But once again, with this game, the key is figure out what the issue is with Brock. Figure out why he threw those bonehead interceptions and ask him legitimately behind closed doors, hey, do you need more time? Is that toe really a factor? Should we sit you until we get to the playoffs? Whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we're doing our thing. We're winning. We're continually holding on to that playoff spot. If we lose the game, here's the thing. You don't want to lose to the Cleveland Browns. But losing to the Cleveland Browns doesn't hurt you in your playoff race in the NFC, obviously because they're an AFC team. So that doesn't hurt you against your record as far as, when it counts for the playoffs and whatnot. They'll take a look at your NFC wins versus your AFC wins, and your NFC wins are going to trump that. So here's the key. You want to win. You want to be able to beat Cleveland. You want to do it in a great fashion. Am I secretly rooting for Shedeur Sanders to have a winning game? I don't want him to win, but I want him to have a good game. Even if Shedeur threw for 230 and 2 tutties, but they still lost, that doesn't bother me. I'm not worried about that. I'm okay. He still looks good. He still keeps his job. Things continue to progress and go on. Everybody knows I am a Shedeur Sanders fan, and I do want to see that kid do great. And he didn't look perfect or stellar, but he looked a lot better than what Dylan Gabriel was doing. And they got a dub, period. That's the whole point of it. So we won this game. We did what we were supposed to do. Shout out to Jair Brown for doing this thing. Shout out to Nick Martin looking even better and better on special teams. Hopefully he continually gets time on the field and we get him more involved because he is a viable tackling machine. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cleveland Farrell for getting us that sack. Great job by JJ for doing the things that he wound up doing, getting that touchdown for us. Shout out to CMC for being the all-around, do-it-all back and doing the things that he did. The other thing that I will state is the number one thing that really pisses me off is the fact that, guys do stupid shit in piles. I mean, I've heard this. If you don't watch The Raw Room, check it out. It's a great show on YouTube. You got Jalen Collins, Darren Bates, and these are just all former NFL players, former, top guys at their positions or definitely at least, good, if not great. They bring in guests, other people who used to play, but their careers were long or short, whatever the case may be. But basically, they said, you get into a pile, things happen. People punch, pull, kick, do all kinds of stuff. And one of the players for the Panthers punched Juwan Jennings in the balls, man. He punched him square in the nuts. And everybody, was like, I know a lot of people are out on Juwan Jennings and they don't like him. They don't like his attitude because sometimes he can be a little overzealous. But let me tell you something. As a man, getting punched in the balls is one of the ultimate disrespects you can ever have. And for that man to have kept his composure and not put his hands on that dude right there in that moment, that's a good thing. That means he's showing restraint. Because I can tell you right now, I took my helmet off and smacked it against his own helmet and gave him the worst concussion of his life. You ain't going to hit me in the nuts to get away from it. I've been in the nuts. It don't feel good, okay? Getting hit in the nuts for women, the equivalent is like getting hit in your breast. And not, and I'm talking somebody punching you like they mean business. And my thing is, the guy was fine. I believe he was fine and suspended. And they didn't do anything to Juwan because it's like, yo, man, you can't really, like, what you gonna do, man? You gonna find a dude for getting upset that somebody punched him in the nuts? That's not cool. Don't do that. So the league saw it fit to just, discipline the other guy, let Juwan off the hook. And at the same time, man, be honest with you, when it comes to that situation, that's great restraint shown by Juwan. And then, honestly, next year it opens up the opportunity because most likely Brandon Ayuk is going to be gone. I know they'll release him. But because of that, I can tell you right now, that opens the door for Juwan to come back. And I know a lot of people may not like him. I know he may not be like a true number one receiver. All of these things, this, that, and the third. I know about all the drama that we have with him this offseason. But we're going to need another receiver. Because you're not going into next year with Ricky Pearsall, DeMarcus Robinson, and Sky Moore. That's what you're not doing. You're not going to hope that Jordan Watkins randomly shows up and becomes a superstar. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just certain things, like there's places where we have needs, and the guy knows our system, and I know that there are things that happened, this offseason that kind of made us sour on him a little bit, but at the end of the day, he did get up, he did go out there, he did do what he could. He's been doing as well as he can for us, and, we're going to need all the bodies we can get. So, great job for us, great game for us, just to get another dub, but we got to clean up a lot of things on offense, and we got to get our offense running in the right way. I'll be back on Saturday. We'll do a preview show with my guys from the Forever Faithful podcast for the Cleveland Browns. And I'll definitely have some things to talk about on that one. But other than that, man, continue to have fun, continue to be safe, stay with your families, eat your food, enjoy yourself. Don't get too crazy. If you got to go to work tomorrow, make sure you get the proper rest. Along with, like I said, if you have anything that you got to, any fences you need to mend those, man. Life too short, and this is one of the days to do them. I'll end the stream by saying this. In this country, we think of Thanksgiving as a day to be with our families and a day to give thanks, and happiness for us, just because that's a tradition that we have and a tradition that we know. The reality, unfortunately, for the Native Americans is Thanksgiving was a day of slaughter. The Pilgrims sat with them, and they ate their food, and they enjoyed things, and behind their backs, they were killing their people and stealing their land, and it's not fair. So I want people to understand that we celebrate Thanksgiving for different reasons, but we also understand the negativity behind it and what really happened. And it's definitely very unfortunate. Shout out to all the Native American tribes that are still here in the U.S., in this country, in this land that was yours before it was ours. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for continually, being with us. But I will say this, man, when you enjoy Thanksgiving, just remember this is a day to celebrate, but also a day to mourn. And we have to be stronger and better as a country and understand that, these things are dead and gone, but you never forget. Stay up, stay faithful, stay blessed, and I'm out.